What is good? What is good? Tonight, we are headed back to the Underdog streets for a Scott Fishbowl Sattelite. Sit down and strap in. Best ball streets, baby. Let's go. Welcome into Club Fantasy FFL. Welcome to Masterclass. And tonight, we are headed back to Underdog for the Scott Fishbowl Satellites. As always, our co-host and professor, Miss Stacy Perez, at Stacy_Perez83 over there on Twitter. And as always, you can find me at FantasyJ77. Stacy, you and I just got through with this hurricane. We are go lucky. Hopefully everything is good with you. How are you this evening?
Well, I am great, Gator. I am just saying hello to some of the people in our chat over here. Charlene, how is it going? Yeah, everything was great down here. We had a little bit of a storm. What are you going to really call it? It wasn't a hurricane when it hit Florida. Just some wind, some rain, nothing that we're not used to down here at all. In fact, Gator, they didn't even cancel court for me on Monday. I'm down there downtown in my little suit. I got my rain boots on. I got my rain coat on. I'm swimming down the streets trying to get to court because nothing stops us here in Florida.
That's right. That's right. The divorce state, right?
That's right. Hey, yeah. Hey, I got to pay for my fantasy football somehow, Gator.
No doubt. Tonight's draft, of course, is being held on Underdog. It is a $5 entry, 150 max entries, 15,000 total entrants, top 500 win an SFB entry. Currently, right now, there is just over 10,800 entrants already, and that is 72% full. Stacy, what is the roster and scoring? This one any different than any of the others that we've done on Underdog?
No, it's not. It's the same as regular Underdog, where it's going to be 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a flex, tight end, and then you got 10 on your bench there. So it's going to be 18 rounds. It's at half point PPR. So guys, if you are wanting to draft with us, if you are out there in the chat, Charlene, Caesar, everybody else who's listening, if you want to jump in, it's Underdog, so we can't guarantee it, but we can always give it a try. So, Gator, are we ready to hit that green enter button? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Vince, our guy Vince, is in the chat.
There he
Vince is in the chat. I'm kind of wondering. You know what I'm gonna do? I was thinking I was gonna draft this one here, but here's what I think I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if you can get 11 people right now with you.
Let's go.
And then if we can't, then I'll jump in after when we get there.
All right, kiddos. If you are wanting to draft with me, I am hovering over that green enter button right now. I'm going to hit it right now. We're going to hit confirm. Yes, we want to jump in this draft. Let's take a look. We're waiting on 3 of you guys. 3 people waiting on y'all to fill this draft up. Let's go. Oh, 2 people. 2 people.
Okay.
Still room. There's still room. So Underdog Satellite Scott Fishbowl, jump on in there. As soon as we get it filled, I will put up the draft board.
And we are doing the 30 second, not the 8 hour. We're doing the 30 second. So
yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely not 8 hours. Stacy doesn't do slow drafts.
Still need 2 more?
2 more. Dose people.
All right, let's see if I can get in on it. We'll go ahead and make it 1 more if I can get in.
There you go. Wait on one more. Are you already in?
I am in as well. So now you're going to be for one of the very few times this year, Stacy and I in the same draft, which means Stacy,
yeah,
you're paying your way and I'm paying my way.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. You know what? It kind of made me sad, Gator, is that here we go. We got 30 seconds left. So here's kind of what I was thinking. I log into Underdog today and I see how much I've got in my account. And last year I was fortunate enough to win enough money to kind of finance what I wanted to do on Underdog for the most part, this season. And now I look at my account and I'm down to double digits, and it just makes me sad because I know that it's almost time for the season. So we've been drafting like all year so far, and it's almost here.
Right? Yeah, it is. I'm trying to get the draft board to pop up.
You got the board up? I'm out of the 11 spot. That is gross. I hate drafting that far down, but that's okay. We'll survive.
We will make it happen. I am in the 8th spot, so not much better, right?
No, and Charlene's there in the 6th. What's up, Charlene? We got 9 seconds left till this kicks off.
I want to see if I can stop sharing.
Billy, I don't know if you are 12 or not. Whoever M Bittner 5 is Team 12. So hopefully that's you. What's up, everybody? They're hanging out in the chat with us. Looks like we've got, is this a new listener here? Dean Miss, oh, I'm going to mess up your name. Dean Miss,
So D Mansale, I believe it is. You sent us a message on YouTube. We are going to be doing an FFPC. I believe is it next week or the week after
it's
next.
the 27th. Let me pull up my calendar real quick before it gets to me. Gator, it is on August 27th. Guys, we are doing a high stakes FFPC best ball tournament. It is not the $35 one, guys. We are going big or going home with our last show. It is the 125.
That's
So
right.
if you are ready to jump on into the high stakes streets with us, please do so. We are out there. We'll put up the league ID and everything in a post so that you guys can see. You guys know exactly where to draft. We'll send you to the link so you can jump on in if you haven't drafted on the FFPC before. You want to know exactly where we're drafting. If you are in to draft with us, it's going to be a really fun draft. I can't wait to see everybody who's in it, and there's still plenty of room. So it's going to be our last show of the off season. So I want to see some familiar faces in that one, Gator.
Yeah, what's going to be fun is we'll get that the link and the league name or the league number out. If that's 2 weeks from now, I believe it is.
Yes.
We'll probably get that out going into the week. So probably if we go Tuesday night next week, it'll probably come out for Wednesday next week is when we'll get that out there. And hopefully we'll have a ton of you guys joining us in that one there. I am going to go with a guy here, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it. There's a couple first rounders that I'm curious to see where they're going to fall just due to some injury stuff. But last thing on that last draft that we're doing with the FFPC guys, I know you hear 125 and you're like, oh man, that's a lot of money. Listen though, it's a $300,000 grand prize. You're right now, like in these kind of drafts, we're playing with like 600,000 set of people, right? So your odds of winning a lot lower. We're doing this one over here in the FFPC. I don't have it in front of me. I'll try to find it in just a second. The player or the entry pool is going to be a lot lower there. So it may be a lot, but your odds of winning some actual real hard cash are going to be a lot higher. So if you're on the fence, definitely think about it. It's a really good time, but you should come join us.
100% you should join us. It is an absolute blast. Once we get done drafting, it is nothing but talking shit season.
Absolutely.
So Daniel is his name, and yes, he is new
Daniel.
here. Appreciate you joining us. So we got Daniel. Are you in San Juan? Because with your name there, I want to make sure if you're in San Juan, that would be awesome because we have Vince who is on the clock in 3 weeks. He'll be right back. He says, but he is in Australia, which would be freaking phenomenal, right? We got San Juan, Puerto Rico, Australia. Freaking awesome. And Billy says he meant he was the 12th to join. He is in the 3rd slot.
Too much. That's funny. I like your team name, Billy. That's great. Too much sauce.
So real quick, I just want to run through this first round here. I'm going to be coming up on the clock here. So as soon as I make my pick, I'll run through the first round and see if anything stands out, because I think I've got one that kind of stands out right away.
I got a couple.
Oh, okay. I like it.
You are going to be on the clock here in just a second. So the first one that I really see is that Christian McCaffrey one falling to number 2. So you don't typically see that. And I think the reason for that is going to be because he has got a strained calf, since he's going to miss a couple of weeks. Right now, also bad news, Elijah Mitchell, his backup, is also injured. So, it's still early. It's not like we're in the middle of the season now, but that's just something that I would be monitoring. I mean, dude, he's Christian McCaffrey. Like, I don't know how much further he's going to fall if he's just not the 101. I doubt that he falls out of the first round. I doubt he falls out of the first 5, but it's something definitely to monitor, for sure. Just those calf injuries are sneaky. I think, who was it last year? Was it Burrow that had the calf injury before he hurt his wrist?
I think it was
a few games. Yeah. So, just something to keep in mind, guys.
So our first round looks like this: CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Puka Nacua to end out the first round. And I wanted to bring up the first round because the one that stood out to me outside of Christian McCaffrey following the two, which is not, overly surprising depending on it, where you are, when you're drafting these best balls. Of course, this being a Scott Fishbowl, so it's completely different. But when you're drafting in best ball, if you can consistently get that 1-1, you do want to kind of change it up from Christian McCaffrey every single time, I would think.
Sure. I would think so. I mean, it just goes back to like exposure. If you're doing a ton of these, whether it's this kind of draft, whether it's a Best Ball Mania, it doesn't really matter. Any kind of big tournament. If you're doing a lot of drafts, you have, a pretty good portfolio with that. You want to make sure that you are exposed to different players. If you have every single one of you, if you have 150 entries, 150 Christian McCaffreys, what if, something happens with his calf and he keeps him out a couple games and you totally screwed yourself. So you want to make sure that you're exposed to different players. You've got different lineups, different configurations, and, all that too, when you're moving on in these tournaments and going up from round to round to round in the playoffs, that's what you want, right? You don't want to have the exact same team as somebody else. You want to have a unique roster, unique build. So, if you've got McCaffrey 100 times, you should probably switch it up a little bit. Although I'm going to say that and he's going to go like set a record for touchdowns or something this year. So
very, very, very possible. Very possible.
Yeah.
The other one that stands out to me, and this is basically because of the injury news we've gotten. Bittner's there at the 12 spot, taking Puka Nacua. Not saying that he's going to fall very much further than that, but there is the group that does like what's happening with Cooper Kupp. The ascension of Puka Nacua is still there, but is Cooper Kupp still fantasy relevant? And is he still going to be the wide receiver one on that team? Or can he recapture that, especially now that Puka's down? What do you think Puka Nacua compared to Cooper Kupp there, who goes a full round later?
Yeah, I mean, you keep seeing all these camp news about, Cooper Kupp being in the best shape of his life, looks better than he ever has. All those things. I mean, who knows, what's, accurate and what's not. But, what is true is that
on the internet, it's accurate.
Injury. You just have to be careful with all these news, updates and things like that with, coming out from camp. But Puka has a knee injury and he's week to week right now. And that doesn't really sound all that comforting for a player that you're taking in the first round. I mean, for me, that it makes me not really that excited to want to go grab him. You're spending a really high draft capital on somebody to be your number one receiver. I am not surprised to see him get pushed down. For me, I just feel like I'm going to have to pass on Puka for now. That knee injury scares me a little bit. And maybe I'm going to be wrong about that. I hope that he does end up playing because he's so much fun to watch. I think football's better when Puka and Cooper Kupp are on the field just doing what they do. But right now, for me, until we get more information, I think I'm going to back off a little bit.
Yeah, and I think I'm right there with you. Man, I'm getting so much of them. I'm still of the opinion that I know Matthew Stafford said the other day in fantasy, draft both of them.
Yeah,
because they're both going to get fed. I just have a sneaking suspicion that Cooper Kupp, he missed 13 games last year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think he's going to be back with a vengeance this year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not afraid to take Cooper Kupp. I don't have that much of him.
Especially at cost.
For sure. But yeah, I'm not afraid, especially now too. And I mean, at least we're hearing positive things, which is always really good. So yeah, I'm totally fine taking Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's going to be on the, older end, just like Devontae Adams, who went right after him, Mike Evans. Well, right before him, sorry, because this is the second round coming back that way. But those last three guys here, you got Evans, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp. I am up right now.
Yeah. And as you're up, I'm going to run through the second round here. And we had Devon Achane started off, Drake London, Jonathan Taylor, Marvin Harrison, Deebo Samuel, Nico Collins, Jalen Waddle, Saquon Barkley, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp to end the second round, starting the third round with Kyron Williams, Devontae Smith, Derrick Henry, Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman Jr., Malik Neighbors, Amari Cooper, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and then Isaiah Pacheco to end the third round. There's one guy that I want to talk about right here. I mean, everybody's talking about him right now. You're talking about Brandon Ayuk. There is multiple reports saying that the 49ers have, in principle, trades completed with both the Patriots and the Browns, just waiting to see what they can figure out as far as a contract extension with Ayuk. And then later on this afternoon, or earlier this afternoon, rather, the Steelers say they're back in this mess of getting Brandon. Out of those three teams, which teams would you rather see him go to?
Am I allowed to say the Niners? Am I allowed to say that he stays on the Niners?
That is 100% fair. That is 100% fair.
I don't want to see him go anywhere else. I don't want to see him go to the Steelers. I think that's a horrible situation for him. I can't even like imagine like who's going to be throwing to him there. I don't like it at all. The Patriots also don't like that. Who's going to be throwing to him? Unless it's Jacoby Brissett throwing to him, and then maybe, who knows? But no. You said the Browns too. I didn't hear the Browns were in it. Are they in it?
Yeah, the Browns and the Patriots have a deal with the Niners, for the trade itself.
Oh, I don't know that I really want. I guess the Browns probably have, if Deshaun Watson can be Deshaun Watson, but they also have Amari Cooper there. So he's not going to be the clear, one right off the bat. The same, I mean, I don't want to see him go anywhere other than say the 49ers. I want to see them like entertain all of this and then say, look, we'll just pay you whatever all those guys are going to pay you and you can stay here.
Yeah, I think that's the issue, to be quite honest. I think the issue is what's going to be the contract. And I mean, he's going to be looking for that 30 million, 30 million a year area. And I think that's going to be the hang up. But then this is the reason I asked the question as well. Yeah. I jumped on Debo in the second round and Amari Cooper in the third round with the questions, because the way that I heard about Pittsburgh was they wanted a wide receiver in return, and that's why Pittsburgh got out of it.
Okay.
Now, just kind of reading between the lines, that was possibly a Pickens. And
well, especially now, Gator, what you were saying, especially now with the Pearsall news, about him re-aggravating, those injuries. He's been injured all, the offseason so far. So if anybody had, ideas about him coming in and taking over that Ayuk spot, that may not happen right away.
Yeah, when you look at like a Debo Samuel, if he does move, if let's say it's the Patriots or it's the Steelers, and it's for a lesser wide receiver, that's just gonna Debo to the moon, right?
Oh my God, Debo already to the moon. Anyway, I mean, that offense can support both Debo and Ayuk. They've shown that, no problem. But yeah, even more so Debo to the moon. I just don't think that changes too much where he goes. I don't think he gets much higher. He's second round right now. I don't really see, it's not like he's going to push him into the first round. So I don't really see that pushing him any higher. I think it makes Ayuk drop because obviously he's going to, any of those are lesser offenses, right? Any single one of those teams, it's a lesser offense. It's a downgrade for him.
Yeah, and I guess the other side of that coin too is if, I'll throw out these two scenarios. Brandon Ayuk goes to the Patriots. Who does it hurt? In my opinion, it's going to hurt Hunter Henry. If he goes to the Steelers, who does it hurt? It's going to hurt, Pat Freiermuth.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, Freiermuth was already fringe anyway. I mean, like for me, the Steelers, the only guys that I really wanted for the Steelers were their running back situation. And maybe Pat Freiermuth if I had waited for a while on tight end. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in the Steelers being a huge passing offense this year. So even with Ayuk out there, it's not them. I mean, like obviously Pickens is a very good wide receiver as well. It's who's throwing him the ball that I don't have a lot of confidence in.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. And Vince brings up, he's like, he wants to go to the Steelers because he has Fields and Ayuk and Scott Fishbowl.
Oh, that would be you might win the Scott Fishbowl if that actually happened. Stacy, wait on TD. Hey, I already did. Look, I had the opportunity to take Laporta there, and don't think I didn't think about it. He was in my queue, but I took Zay Flowers instead because I got a plan going, guys. I got a little plan going on that I want to talk too much about because I don't want my compadre over here to snipe me.
No, I knew you were going Sam Laporta. I had already reserved myself that, hey, I'm not getting him. And then so as soon as you didn't take him, I'm like, are you serious? I still get a chance. And of course, the person between us goes and gets him, which is fine.
Laporta in the fourth round, he is falling slightly.
Yeah, the this is fun here because I am the only one that has gone 4 straight wide receivers here,
Yes.
which is, pretty interesting. What I find even more interesting, Stacy, you only have 2 wide receivers, but you have 2
Oh,
running
sir.
backs that you normally don't touch a running back here.
That
What's
is not my team. I am team 11 and I have got 3 wide
Oh,
receivers and one running back.
okay, my bad. I'm looking at the small print on the screen here. I'm looking at the small print. So,
Peter, you are on the clock, brother.
yes, I am, and, I think I'm gonna go ahead and snag, uh, a little early, but I think it'll work out, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab Kyle Pitts right here.
I am so upset with you right now.
Yeah, I
There
thought
goes my stack. There goes my Atlanta stack. That's fine. I'm gonna pivot. That's okay. Don't you worry. I'm gonna pivot.
well, that's the purpose of it there. I want you want the people to see how to pivot and what a good best baller does when they pivot.
We're gonna pivot. We're gonna do something else.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
Charlene says she likes it so far, with the four wide receivers, there to
Mhm.
start. Thank you, Charlene. I do appreciate that. It means a lot from you. Vince is just laughing at you, on tilt right now over the Kyle Pitts, debacle that
So
just happened.
annoyed. So rude. Let's see. Guzzlebutt.
I don't
That's
see many
fine.
RBs, I'd be comfortable with as a lead back from this point forward. I think there might be a couple,
Had a
that are still out there, and that's the risk that I'm running right here. There's a couple of them that I'm still comfortable with, and if he makes it back to me, I'll get. I'm going running back in with this next pick. So we shall see. Gator with the lessons.
right.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to know, it's hard to do it on underdog, but you kind of have to know your league, right?
You
And
do.
I kind of know where Stacy stands with some of these tight ends. Of course, I'm a little bit higher on Kyle Pitts than she is. However, I also know that, watching him go off at tight end, 6 here, it
Yeah.
was very likely that Stacy was taking a
I
tight
was gonna
end.
take him. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I was absolutely taking Pitts right there if he had fallen to me. Just to go with Drake London there and make that a nice little Atlanta stack for later on. That's all right
Just,
though.
just got I just got put into a pickle here. I don't know which one of these guys I really want right now, but I'm going to go this route. I'm going to go with Joe Mixon right here, to get
That's
that.
such a nice pick. I like that.
I mean,
Mixon is your first bet. I have no issue with I've done that numerous times.
get him
I
in the
love
sixth
that.
round. I think the value is right there. And this is one of those guys that I think is very well could be a bell cow back. Yes, he's got Damian Pierce behind him. Yes, there's Cam Akers is there. Whatever. Joe Mixon proved last year that he can be, at least in my opinion, he can be on the field all 3 downs.
I think so. Charlene. Oh no, Charlene. Charlene, you have Travis Kelsey. You don't need you were talking about Kyle Pitts or Joe Mixon. Uh-oh.
I think she was talking about Mixon here.
You
So
got Bijan, girl. You're good.
yeah, she has no need for a stinking running back.
No.
Speaking of running backs, what do we know about I'm gonna say one of our guys. Because I'm pretty high on Jonathan Brooks myself, but
Yeah.
it's very likely that he's gonna start on the PUP list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Jonathan Brooks fan, not necessarily this year, but more so next year, like in Dynasty, if I'm playing Dynasty. I just can't take him where he's going this year, knowing that that was always a possibility with his injury, and now it looks like that's kind of being realized. At least from what we're hearing from Canales. So, Chuba Hubbard to the moon, baby! I can't wait to see where he goes in this draft because I mean, you're getting Chuba for free essentially. In a lot of these. So I'm very curious to see where he goes tonight.
Yeah, what else I find interesting? You also have Xavier Leggett with a foot
Mhm.
injury there in Carolina. Carolina is basically starting the new regime with Dave Canales, the same way they ended the regime of last year and
Yeah,
not playing anybody. And when I mean not playing anybody, I mean playing their own players. Not even starting any of
right.
their players in their preseason here. So I find that quite interesting, to say the least. see if I can scroll this draft board a little bit here. Get through a couple rounds. Round 4 started with George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Josh Jacobs, Sam Laporta, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Travis Kelce, T. Higgins, Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes to end the 4th round. 3 of the top end quarterbacks and 3 top end quarterbacks, 3 top end tight ends in the 4th round there. 5th round started with Hollywood Brown, Trey McBride, Lamar Jackson, Terry McLaurin, Dalton Kincaid, Anthony Richardson, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Jaden Reed, Rashid Rice, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson. I really like the Deontay Johnson pick there in the 5th round to end that one. Starting the 6th, you had Jackson Smith and Njigba, Chris Godwin, CJ Stroud, James Cook, Joe Mixon, George Kittle, Kenneth Walker, Kyler Murray, Rashad White, David Montgomery, Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy. We just started the 7th round.
Yes. 7th round. We got Connor, Romadunze, Christian Watson, Kamara, and now team 5 is on the clock. What do you think? I mean, I see McConkey here. I was curious to see. I know he's a little bit injured, but I think the thing that really most concerns me is the injury to his quarterback that we heard about this week with that plantar fascia tear in his plant foot. That's really concerning for me. I'm really, really worried about that. I have a lot of McConkey, Palmer, Herbert because they're just so cheap. I'm a little concerned, Gator. I'm a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie.
I am as well. And I'm gonna do this pick real quick. And go ahead and get my guy here in the 7th round, the end of the 7th round, to go ahead and take Najee Harris. I just can't stop. I just can't stop. I think it's going to be a major. I know Jalen Warren just went right before him. I think there's even last year, not in the rushy system that Arthur Smith has. They both were fantasy relevant and very good for best ball there as well. For the Ladd McConkey one is and with the Justin Herbert one, that's an injury that can linger. Stephania Bell actually has this injury from
right now,
and she has said multiple times that that was like a month ago, maybe a little bit more than a month ago now, and she's not even running, but it's still very, very painful.
And
it's going to be. I think the issue for me though, Stacy, and you brought this up pre-show, was that's on his plant foot.
Right. Yeah, it's on his plant foot. I have also strained I not torn or anything, but I've hurt my foot in that manner. And I mean, God, I'm obviously not an athlete or anything like that, but man, like it was miserable just walking around. So
fantasy managers are athletes too. Stop.
Oh man, something bad's about to happen. I think I almost timed out. Oh my gosh. Is
that what that was? Well, here's something that the Chargers did today. They signed Luis Perez, signed by the LA Chargers.
No relation. Gator.
We don't know this yet. He was actually went undrafted in 2018, but he was in LA at that time because he was an undrafted free agent for the Rams. Last year, he led the UFL in passing yards, touchdowns, and completion percentage. My question, Stacy, is Gator. Every single one of us are sitting here saying this offense is not going to be a passing offense because they got rid of everybody. Well, then why the hell did they go sign the UFL's passing leader if they're not going to pass the ball?
That's a great question. And I literally just saw this news before we logged in. So I have no idea. I'm going to pull up their depth chart right now because I'm a little curious to see what their other options were and why they felt they needed to sign that guy. So maybe if my internet will work here, I can pull up that depth chart.
I may be making a mistake here. I'm not even paying attention to bye weeks yet. But I'm going to go ahead, and I don't normally do this. I went back to back running backs. Started off with four wide receiver. Then I got Kyle Pitts, and then I went 3 running backs, which don't get me wrong. I like all 3 of these running backs, especially for this. Oops. I'm sorry, Charlene. I am sorry.
No, he's not. He's not sorry, Charlene. Don't you believe a word he says.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Guacamole, Batman. I get it. Why can't I
Which one are you looking for? You're looking for the
Something's
Chargers.
going on. Yeah, I'm on the RLAD site and I can't access it for some reason. It's just
I
like
give
no.
you here is their current quarterbacks. Easton Stick, Max Duggan, Casey Braun, and Reese Perez.
Okay, so I guess I see why they went out and signed somebody. Sorry guys. Sorry. What's up, Rachel? See you in the chat. I am rocking my Unwind t-shirt tonight. Shout out to all the Unwind ladies that are out there. If you are a lady and you're listening tonight and you're not part of Unwind, you need to be part of Unwind. Send us a message. We will get you connected. Yeah. Girls get it done.
Vince Duggan season.
Yeah, I don't know, Vince. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one. I don't know that I can go there yet. Man.
I really am. Listen, Charlene, I did not know. Stacy is over here just throwing me under a bus. I did not know you were that high on Mostert, so I apologize, and I do apologize. I did not mean it. I don't care what Stacy says.
Don't believe him.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
over here throwing some quarterbacks or some running backs in my queue. Since I only have
I don't want to stay on the Chargers offense and their signing of Perez too long here, but and I may be speaking too fast here because there's a couple players that are still out there. Does this give you the idea that maybe they do want to throw the ball a little bit?
I mean, I think they are going to throw the ball. Well, okay, so the Herbert thing worries me, but let's put all that aside. Okay, I mean, you're not going to have a guy with a huge arm like Herbert just passing the ball off to his running backs every single play. Like that's not going to happen. Okay, so again, and I will quote this until I die. Field Yates said several months ago that even the most run happy offense last year still passed 48% of the time. Okay. So they are still going to be throwing the ball. They went out, they got McConkey to replace, what they had lost there in Williams and in Allen. They've got Josh Palmer there, are they going to pass a ton? Who knows? I don't know the answer to that. I would think he would even probably less if Herbert's unable to go for some reason because of that foot. If they've got somebody else back there, they probably are going to run it a little bit more. I would say that quarterback determination is going to really tell me what they're going to do. And I hope that's not like a cop out or anything, but I don't know at this point. I mean, with the foot issue with Herbert, is he going to be able to be out there? I think we have a lot of questions now, and it makes me a little more hesitant because, I was smashing that draft button on Ladd McConkey constantly. I've got so much Ladd McConkey. I can look it up at some point and tell you what my exposure rate is, but it's super high. So I'm real worried, Gator. I'm real worried right now.
Yeah, I think I would be too. I think it's that is such a hard offense to figure out what it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
But the nice thing is most of those players maybe outside of Ladd, and I think maybe the reason that Ladd's the cost on Ladd is so high is just because we're just coming off a rookie season. But I think most of the wide receivers, including the tight end, including the running backs, are reasonably priced, if not considerably cheap.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say they really are. They are. Their ADP is. I mean, outside McConkey, everybody else on that offense is so cheap.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this pick here as soon. I'm actually in a dilemma.
As soon as Cody B times out, it looks like.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh.
Okay, he that was in his queue then.
That's always whenever that happens, I'm just like sweating, like looking at, oh my God, who's up next? What, they're going to take the player I want. And I'm so thankful when they've already set their queue.
Yeah. Okay. So still got a couple options here. I think, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and take Brock Bowers.
Gator, if you were here, I would smack you right now.
Well, I mean, I got him 10 picks.
Yes, I know. I couldn't believe that he was. That's why I kept looking. I was like, why is he still in my queue? Why is he still in my queue? he was what was his
ADP
ADP?
of 96, and I took him at
Yeah.
104. So
Yeah,
whatever
guys,
happened.
what are we doing here? Was
Right.
that an oops? Is there Brock Bauer news that we haven't heard yet? Like, what
I
happened?
think there is Brock Bauer news that I heard about today. But before I get into that, don't forget, Women of Fantasy Football has teamed up with TrophySmack for the Ladies League. Go over to TrophySmack.com/WOFF to purchase anything they have out there. All commissions earned this month, the month of August, go towards the GALvanize scholarship as well. Make sure you use the code trophies, or make sure you use the link trophysmack.com /backslash WOFF. Did you know that they did that? That TrophySmack did a ladies line or ladies league line?
I actually went and looked at it yesterday because I was looking for some gear for a ladies league that I'm commissioning. So was trying to find some nice new stuff. Saw some really cool rose gold trophy. It's the not trophy, it's the rose gold belt. Looks really cool. So definitely go on there and check it out. They have some really good looking stuff on there.
Yeah, I thought I could wait a little bit. Hopefully, I can get this one here, this pick in right here, because I did want to. Okay, I'm going to get him. So I'm going to go ahead and take my quarterback right here, and I know it's not the sexiest of names, but again, this is throws up my stack there with Christian Kirk, his number one wide receiver. And I don't hate Trevor Lawrence this year. What do you think about Trevor Lawrence this year?
I'm
You don't
okay.
like him.
I like no, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that offense is never really lives up to what you're hoping that it'll be. I feel like they've got so much potential that I really haven't seen it realized yet. With the exception of Evan Ingram, who was an absolute stud last year. He led the league in tight end targets with it was like 143 or something wild like that. But yeah, big fan Evan Ingram. That's why I took him as high as I did because I think he fell pretty far too, where his ADP was at. I don't want to say pretty far, but he definitely had fallen. Um, big on Ingram, and Lawrence was one I was looking at to pair with Ingram, but I had the chance to do a little Purdy Caleb Williams
There you
double
go.
tap there with a quarterback, so I didn't. But I don't hate that Lawrence pick, especially in this round. You're in the 10th round. He's
Mhm.
going around Tua, Caleb, and I think that's pretty appropriate for how he ended the season last year.
Yeah, I thought about Tua there, with Mostert,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Mostert is not truly catching the passes. Um,
Right.
so that's kind of that was the and again, like I said, I know it's only a half point PPR, but I wanted the pass catcher uh
Yeah.
of the back there. So round
Oh,
7
yeah.
looks like this: James Conner, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Keon Coleman, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, Brian Thomas, Curtis Samuel, Evan Ingram, Dak Prescott. Round 8 started with Jake Ferguson, Ramondre Stevenson, DeAndre Swift, DeAndre Hopkins, Raheem Mostert, Jaden Daniels, Jamison Williams, Jordan Addison, Zamir White, Cortland Sutton, Jordan Love, Romeo Dobbs. The newly contract Jordan Love there, the
Yeah.
heyday that was. Round 9
Love
started
it.
with the man that was on the thumbnail, Rashid Rice, Joe Burrow, David Njoku, Jonathan Brooks, Tyler Lockett, Zach Moss, Brian Robinson Jr., Brock Bowers, Josh Palmer, Gus Edwards, Brock Purdy, Tony Pollard. And then round 10 is Tajay Spears, Caleb Williams, Dalton Schultz, Chase Brown, Trevor Lawrence, Javante Williams, Tua Tungavailoa, Jacoby Myers, Devin Singletary, Jerry Judy, Khalil Shakir, and Trey Benson, which I really like that pick, getting him there in the 10th round for Trey Benson there. Anything standing out to you, surprising you so far?
Let's take a look and see. I want to see team 4 over here because they've gone 4 running backs in a row.
5
Uh,
running backs in a row.
let's see it maybe. Oh, 5. Wow, there with
Yeah,
White.
Rashad White, Alvin Kamara,
Yeah.
Zamir White, Jonathan Brooks, Devin
Mhm.
Singletary.
Yeah. Who are their receivers? They've got Scary
Jamar
Terry,
Chase.
Ayuk, Olave. Okay, wow. So I mean, they do have the 4 number ones there. Yeah, at
Mhm.
least Ayuk number one, unless he gets traded somewhere. But so they've got their starters. So okay, all right. That's uh, I don't know that I could physically bring myself to draft that many in a row, but I don't hate it, and I like how they got Brandon Cooks there. He was on my list. I think he's pretty underrated for where he's going right now. I mean, he's
Well,
the number 2 in Dallas. So
you know how hard it was for me to get 3 in a row.
yeah, it was. It was tough. It was tough. I
Well,
mean, I
here's
only
my
have 2
issue.
so far, so you guys can guess what I'm probably going to be doing here pretty soon.
Yeah, my issue with that team as it currently stands is no
Mhm.
tight end, right? So when you're
Right.
looking at the current tight ends that are available, Dallas Goedert, Pat Fryermuth, Cole Kmet, TJ
Yeah.
Hawkinson, Hunter Henry,
Hmm.
Noah Fant, Tyler Conklin.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at there. And again, I know it's a 1Z position, but you still need points out of that position on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
You do. I mean, unless you're just going to punt it completely, which maybe that's what he's doing. Um,
That's
I mean, unless you get one of those top few guys, last year I think we saw it only like 5 of the top tight ends had 10 or more fantasy points in PPR, per game per week. So, unless you're getting those top few guys, I mean, maybe he's just willing to, kind of push that position and just settle for a little bit lower production out of it, and hope that his wide receiver room and his running back room kind of make up for that.
Yeah, I don't I'm still, to me, it's just something I can't do. It's kind of like the
I
multiple wide receivers or the multiple running backs. It's just so hard to do.
Yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies for sure.
Well, and this is the exact reason that I tend to enjoy going wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. At least 3 of the first 4 picks, if not 4 of the first 4 picks, wide receiver, because now I'm sitting here and basically have my roster filled. Now I'm able to, go and grab and just fill in for bye weeks.
Exactly.
Back to back in round 10 and 11, I was able to get Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really like what you did there. And when you're talking about going, so early with the receivers in this. I mean, it's this format. I mean, you're starting 3. You have to start 3.
Mhm.
You're probably going to start 1. It's a PPR format, so you want guys that are going to be catching receptions. More than likely, that is going to be, your receivers. Your pass catching running backs, and that's going to be lower. Just kind of lowering the production out of that position, or that roster spot. But the value for receiver just gets sucked up so fast in drafts like this when you've got that roster build. So I just prefer just to knock that out. I only have to start 2 running backs. I only have to start 2 of those guys. So, I just, for me, I mean, that's just how I like to draft. But it's always good to mix it up. Like we talked about earlier, and talking about like exposure. If you're doing a lot of volume on these things, it's 150, max entry on this. So if you wanted to go, crazy, and it's only a $5 entry, so it's really not, if there's something that you wanted to max entry at, this is pretty doable.
Yeah, this is where I'm just gonna fill in the for the bye weeks,
Yeah.
because I think I've pretty much got my core of my roster here. So I'm gonna go ahead and with Marshawn
Mhm.
Lloyd, add
Ugh,
that add that 4th
sure.
running back. Did I do it to you again?
I just, you know what though, that's okay. I'm a huge, huge Marshawn Lloyd fan. I am my exposure for him is probably 40%, if I had to guess right now,
That's
which is
it's not great.
very high.
Ay, 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 ay,
Charlene.
ay, ay.
I know, Charlene, we're gonna have to mix it up. That's what this means. We're just gonna have to mix it up. I know, Vince, seriously, I have so much Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, getting him in the 12th round, somebody that, we know Josh Jacobs is going to be the one there. The
Mhm.
issue is how long is he gonna be the one? When is that injury, coming? He's
Mhm.
missed a couple games each of the last couple years, and, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good offense, and you look
It
at
is.
their late games, and if it's late in the year, they're gonna have some cold weather games, uh,
Mhm.
and that running game is gonna come into play.
Come in pretty handy. I'm curious to see if AJ Dillon gets drafted at all, with the news coming out. Yeah. Well, don't get too excited because news has been coming out about AJ Dillon's going to be the number 2 behind Josh Jacobs. So I know we've all forgotten about him. He's kind of been put into fantasy exile, with not having super productive, years, the past couple years. But if they're still going to ride him as the number 2, you've got a rookie back there who's potentially going to have to earn his playing time. So that makes me a little bit worried about Lloyd, although I do think he's super talented. I think he gets in there, especially if Dylan, continues to struggle.
Yeah, I think I've seen enough of Dylan. I think that's Coach
Yeah.
Smith, quite honest.
And who knows though? I mean, you got to respect a veteran player, at least being given the opportunity, by their coaching staff. So I don't see them completely, banishing him to the bench either. So I think he is going to be in the mix a little bit, but is it going to be enough to be fantasy relevant? I don't know. I doubt it, but.
Yeah, I'm with Vince here. I think Lloyd's going to steal more and more reps as the season goes on, and he gets more and more comfortable in that offense.
I mean, I certainly hope so with as much Marshawn Lloyd as I have. I hope that's the case because I don't have very much Josh Jacobs. He goes a little too early for where I like to take my running backs. So at least on my teams, Marshawn, I'm going to need you just to ball out this year, please.
Yeah, I think that's okay. So quick question for you. How, because you play this way more than I do. I play a damn good bit and you are just all over, I like to keep my exposure. If I hit 30%, then I feel like that's about where I want to be at most. Is that the same with you, or?
That's what mine should be. It should be around 30%. I'm going to pull it up just for complete transparency here, guys. I'm
when you're sitting there, you're looking at a Marshawn Lloyd who you think right now you have at 40%. Not only do you not draft him, do you go and do more best balls just so you feel better when you look at exposure?
I must be. So my underdog is actually at 19% Lloyd.
Okay. So
I'm probably thinking of like all like just in general because I really am taking him everywhere.
That means your FFPC you're like at 73%.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be. You're never gonna believe who I have somebody at 42% right now as a running back, and I just did it again, so it's gonna go even higher now.
Yeah. I was trying to think of who your guy is that you are. Oh my Lord. I'm gonna have to
Zach Charbonnet, baby. I was all aboard the Zach Charbonnet train last year. I still am. We got to get that 42% down a little bit, though. We got to get that down a little bit.
Got to simmer just a little bit.
That's what though. Here's what it is that we'll go after those guys for Chicago, and then you take a look at your week 17, for correlation, and they're playing Atlanta. No, I'm sorry, Chicago and Seattle are playing each other. So Charbonnet is an easy one, because you're, probably maybe you missed on Metcalf or, you missed on JSN. I don't really want any Tyler Lockett this year, but I'll go grab Zach Charbonnet and make that a nice little, combination, especially with I've got Caleb Williams and Keenan Allen here.
Yeah, I like that. I'm sitting here trying to figure out who. Oh, wait a minute. I might have just figured it out. Yeah, who I'm gonna snag next and make Charlene mad with. Vince says, who do y'all think the Packers fans really like Aaron Jones and now call him Josh Jacobs?
I mean, I'm such an Aaron Jones fan. I'm gonna root for him no matter who he plays for, just like Devontae Adams. Those are two of my favorite Packer players ever. So I'll root for him wherever he goes. I don't know. Josh Jacobs is going to have to endear himself to me. We need you to go get a couple touchdowns like that first game of the season, buddy, before I can fully jump aboard the Josh Jacobs bandwagon.
So I just took Tyler Algiers just because of all the noise. But here's something
I like it. He's one of my favorite backups.
Yes, but I didn't do this on purpose. Because again, I wasn't paying attention to the bye weeks, but Joe Mixon, week 14, Najee Harris, week 9, Raheem Mostert, week 6, Marshawn Lloyd, week 10, Tyler Algiers, week 12. I don't have I don't have two backs that have the same bye week right now.
That's great. I mean, that week 14 and week 12 bye weeks are just absolutely brutal. I mean, I'm looking at my team right now, and I've got a running back, I've got two of my good receivers, I've got oh, thank God you didn't take who I was trying to get there.
I did look at Jaleel
Please.
McLaughlin, but I thought better of it. I did think better.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wanted Chuba there because I just talked him up so much. I do think he is gonna. I think he is obviously going to be the number one, at least for a couple weeks. So I'll take that, and that goes with my nice little Chris Godwin share
There
there.
you go.
So
Little week 17 little
that's right, baby.
action. I didn't even, that's the other thing I didn't do on this one here. I don't even know what my correlations look like. I know I've got a Amari with Raheem Mostert in week 16. Is it? Or is it 17? For the Miami Cleveland game.
Yes.
I don't know what other matchups. I really did not even pay attention. I just having fun drafting and going and getting my guys, right? This is this is one of those tournaments that it's yes, going in the Scott Fish Bowl for Scott Fish Bowl 15 if you get the top 500, but you're given the fantasy cares, and I think that's what everybody should be doing.
Exactly.
Donate to a fantasy cares. Go to fantasycares.org to do that. Every red penny absolutely helps with that. Okay, so I was going
Vince over here in the chat with a Jake Bobo mention. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jake Bobo is fun. Don't sleep on Jake Bobo, guys, especially in best ball. If you're in a deep best ball league, I would have zero issues taking Jake Bobo. And if you don't know who he is, go look him up.
You're getting him for free.
He's a stud. Yeah, go check out his camp highlights.
Yeah, I was looking at getting Demario Douglas right there.
Not tonight, buddy.
Got snagged.
Not tonight.
I'm gonna say he got sniped. He got snagged from me.
Right. Give me some of that Pop Douglas.
By some lady named Stacy P. 83 there. 83. So I had to settle for the next guy, the next best guy in Michael Wilson. How do you like that?
I like Michael Wilson. I'm a big fan of Michael Wilson from Stanford, I believe, right? He was a tree, a cardinal? Cardinal? What? I don't know, man. Like a tree. They have a giant tree as their mascot. The giant tree, right? Yeah, I mean, the giant tree.
Redwoods are giants.
Yeah. Anywho, big Michael Wilson fan. I like that Arizona offense. I think they're going to be throwing a lot because I do think they're going to be behind for quite a bit of their games. But they're fun. They're a spicy little offense, and they're pretty cheap, relatively speaking. With forget McBride and all that, but you can get some of those role players down at the bottom like Wilson and Zay Jones and Greg Dortch and all those guys kind of fill in your roster at the end there, and those guys could have pretty nice spike weeks.
See if I can get through these next 3 rounds before my next pick here. We had Blake Corum in round 11. Blake Corum, Dontavion Wicks, Austin Eckler, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis, Jahan Dotson, Josh Downs, Jared Goff, Dallas Goedert, Adonai Mitchell, Pat Freiermuth, Rico Dowd. Round 12 starts off with Xavier Legette. Again, foot injury. Hopefully he'll be back on the field. He will not play this week in their preseason opener. Zach Charbonnet, TJ Hawkinson, Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd, Kirk Cousins, Jalen Polk, Matthew Stafford, Jerome Ford, Justin Herbert, Nick Chubb, Cole Kmet in the 12th, starting the 13th with Luke Musgrave, Mike Williams, Adam Thielen, Ty Chandler, Hunter Henry, Darnell Mooney, Ricky Pearsall, Tyler Algier, Jaleel McLaughlin, J.K. Dobbins, Chuba Hubbard, Deshaun Watson. To start the 14th, we had Noah Fant, Demario Douglas, Will Levis, Jalen Wright, Michael Wilson, Tyler Conklin, Jonnu Smith, Quentin Johnston, Aaron Rodgers, Antonio Gibson, Rashad Bateman, Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, Stacy, we just started round 15, and now this is the meat of the draft right here. I know this is the favorite part of the draft for you. So let's talk about what you're going to do. That way I can snipe you right before you do it.
Oh my gosh. So we've got 3 rounds left over here, guys. Let's see. I mean, I'm at a 2 quarterback, 4 running back, 6 receiver, 2 tight end build right now. So I definitely need to fill in the middle too with my my roster here with the running backs and the receivers. I think I'm probably going to end up leaving the 2 quarterback, 2 tight end there. I like both those guys, or both my starters on that. I don't have any bye week issues, so I might as well just go, 4 more picks for, fill out the rest of those positions there. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. That's not really giving away too much, I don't think. Unless somebody catches my eye who's still on the board, and then, maybe I'll take some value, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm running through real quick and looking and seeing what's down here still. And when I say here, yes, I'm scrolling down the board.
You know what it is. You know what season it is, Gator.
It's scroll down the damn board season.
That's Vince, I want to know how many shares of the Dorchinator. I like to say the human Dorch that you have. I can tell you right now, I just looked it up. I have 11% of Greg Dorch.
Okay, I like that.
In my underdog drafts. My highest, Gator, do you want to guess who my highest percentage receiver is? It's wild.
Ooh, wide receiver.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
No, I only have 11% of Amon-Ra St. because I never get him. I'm always drafting at the end of the draft. I never get Amon-Ra.
Okay, yeah, that I would not know right off the top of my head, but don't tell me it's Puka.
Okay. No. I might have like one Puka share, period. I have to find that. Yeah, I've got more Cooper Cup than I do.
Christian
Puka.
Watson.
No, sir.
Ah, my goodness. All right, I give up.
He is related to a former Packer. Not related, but
Randall Cobb. Why do you have so much Randall Cobb?
Randall Cobb. I got some Jordy Nelson on my team. No. It's Malachi Corley. Malachi Corley, one of my favorite rookies.
I like how you say he's related because they live together.
Yeah, Aaron. They I was like, well, he's a receiver for a former Packer, so kind of. Right? That's how that works.
Ooh, okay. I see you, Bittners, going down the board. Scrolling down the board, going to get my guy right there.
Well, Jalen McMillan in the 15. Think grabbing Javon Baker. I like it. Let's go with the other McCaffrey.
Oh, look at you finally getting a snipe on me. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like it. Yeah, I'm really now, of course, especially with Washington being out of the Ayuk sweepstakes. I really like this, because I think there's a chance, and I think I've said it here before, for McCaffrey to be that number 2, take over a little bit of the number 2 position there, the wide receiver right behind what's his name, McLaurin.
McLaurin, yeah, and Dotson. I still am on the Dotson bandwagon. He's pretty high on my list too. Hopefully he'll have kind of a bounce back year from last year. In his rookie season, he was great until he got hurt. So I'm still a believer in Jahan Dotson, or Jahan, as our good friend Bill used to say, Jahan. But I like McCaffrey there. It kind of works with the correlation I've got with the Atlanta guys. Despite my best efforts to make an Atlanta stack, I only have Drake London. So,
yeah, I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right here. I'm going to end up.
Well, you took DeMarcus Robinson. That's what you get because you took DeMarcus Robinson from me.
I can't get to it. It won't let me get there. Did I get in fast enough? Nope.
Ooh.
Did not.
I don't hate that though. I don't hate that because of what's going on with DeAndre Hopkins and his injury issues. That's going to elevate Boyd, I think. I'm surprised he's not going higher, honestly. Like, this is about where he's been going. So I'm a little surprised that he hasn't moved up the boards a little bit, at least a round or two.
Actually, when you look at it, and I know this ADP is a little skewed right now.
Right.
This pick was about 11 picks before ADP.
Really?
That's why I was thinking. I was trying to get somebody else, and I got sniped with you and Herbert coming off the board there.
Yeah, I got sniped with Herbert too.
My queue got cut down a good little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to actually grab another guy. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this guy in. I know he's not going to make it back to me, but I'm going to try it anyway and see what happens. But yeah, so we have just a few more rounds here this round and then 2, right?
Yes. So we are finishing up the 16th round, rolling into the 17th, and then the 18th is where we're going to be. That's how we're going to end it.
How do you like your draft so far, Stace?
So far, I actually really like this team. I don't typically start with a, hero RB build, but I grabbed Gibbs there just because, I was not willing to take a, roll the dice there on Puka. I'm really digging this team. I really like my receivers. I got 5 guys right off the bat that I really like, are really outstanding guys. I got some pretty good tight ends, even though I pushed it. And I'm kind of excited about this Purdy, Caleb Williams thing I got going on there.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about mine as well. I think I just got into the 500 just by drafting this team.
Oh, yeah, easily. Right? Go ahead, just give us the entry right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in even playing the season. Just it's done.
Yeah, it's over.
Over. It's over.
Over. I always I know this means absolutely nothing, but when you're on Underdog here and you've got your your team on the side and it tells you what your projected finishes. I take it real personally.
Well, do you?
I do.
Ooh.
I do, because I drafted a team the other day and I thought it was a great team. I was like, this team is just fire. I love this team. And I literally had I was in the 3,000s. I was the worst team in that league according to Underdog. And I was like, Underdog, get out of here with that. So I do. I take it entirely too personally.
It's
like when Yahoo, you ever draft on Yahoo and how they will give you your draft score, they'll grade your draft afterwards, and then they'll send you the AI generated spiel about how much your team sucks or how great they are. And inevitably every time I do it, they say my team is awful. And I'm just you know what? I am sick of you, Yahoo. You have no idea.
It's like the rate my league for Scott Fishbowl, right?
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't get me started on that either, Gator, because that told me that my team was going to come in last in my division.
I think mine's supposed to come in last too.
And it gave me so much shit over, because if you guys follow, I went ham on tight end in that draft. Okay. I went 4 off the board. I went crazy. And I did McBride, Kincaid, Bowers, and Ferguson. Just did that. And it gave me so much crap about my team. And I had Nico Collins and CJ Stroud, and this little bio is telling me how, it's basically just crapping all over CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. And then it's and her running backs are terrible with, Najee Harris. I was I got Najee Harris in the 9th round in a draft that is scoring is slanted towards running backs. Are you kidding me? That was a steal. Anyway, I was very hot after I read that.
Stacy, when it comes to stuff like that,
it's just so ridiculous.
It's got Fishbowl, so it's about having fun, right?
Right.
And doing that. I think mine was hilarious. I can't remember what mine was, but it was hilarious. And I just okay, cool, whatever. I just move on.
I know. I just read it. I was whatever. I love my team. I love how I drafted it. Don't care. But yeah, just that stuff is so funny though to read. You walk away thinking that you did something great, and then it just goes unappreciated.
I think the biggest takeaway for me, and anything that I word of advice that I would give to people that get into Scott Fishbowl, whether it's the actual Scott Fishbowl, whether it's any of the eliminators, the mirror leagues, doing the Scott Fishbowl satellites, any of that stuff, it's for charity, it's for fun.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, who gives a damn what players you have on your team? Because this is the epitome of draft players that you want to watch on Sunday.
Yes.
100%
fun
with it. Enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and take Vince's guy right here and get a little Dortch, because I think one of either it's either going to be Dortch or Wilson, and having the 8th, having them the 7th and 8th wide receivers on my team, I'm good with.
Yeah, that's nice. Vince, see, you went tight end crazy too. See, it makes no sense. 400. See, that's but maybe I'll rebound. I don't know. I didn't even make the playoffs in the Fishbowl last year, so
maybe it took that into account. Maybe that's what it was, because it added my last year to this year. I was like, you suck.
You're terrible. That's so funny. Oh, Trey Sermon. I like that pick there. Who am I gonna grab? All right. 6 running back. No more. Already too many.
Yeah, I'm with you there. My build right now is 2582.
Yep.
And there is a running back on the board that I will go get if he makes it back to me. If not, it's going to be a wide receiver. I don't want to get that 6th running back, but there is one that I do like. And imagine that he doesn't have the same bye week as any of my other running backs either.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it could be I could have 6 running backs and none of them have the exact same bye week. Interesting.
I love it. I am scrolling the F down right now on the wide receiver options. Let's see who I can take with make it my 8th receiver.
I think here though too, Stacy,
Let's go.
as you're into the 18th round here,
Yeah.
this one here is truly the dart throw, right? Go
Oh,
find
for
somebody
sure.
that could truly have a spike week.
Yes.
You get 1 or 2 spike weeks, especially if it's when your main guy is on. You dog.
Oh.
Yeah. Especially if it's on a week that one of your main wide receivers are on bye, it would make it very nice. Let me just double check my bye weeks for wide receivers here.
Yoshi, Charlene knows
Good.
what's up.
Yes.
Getting Andre Yoshivas, the decathlete. We all just watched the Olympics. We saw a little kid from Norway won the decathlon.
Oh my Lord! Now I'm okay. I'm just gonna have to do it. I'm gonna go ahead and do Roshan Johnson right here.
Go for it.
What I saw last week in that exhibition, not expedition, but exhibition. Roshan was used quite a bit, and I really I like him coming out of college. But
same.
When you have another guy, some guy named Bijan, something like that. I mean, we know how bad he sucks in the NFL because they can't even use him. But no, I like Roshan right there, especially in the 18th round.
Yeah, getting in the 18th round is great value. I like Yoshivas. Everybody's big on Jermaine Burton. I mean, he went to team 2 here in the 15th round. I'm getting the guy who's actually going to be the number 3 in Cincinnati in the 18th round.
Yeah, I find what is interesting to me about getting Yoshi there is I'm surprised over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He's really started to creep into every best ball that we do. And even last week he was going 5 or 6 picks later where Treylon Burks where Chick was going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a little surprised too. I mean, Burks has been bad for a while, but especially with that injury with Hopkins, I'm a little surprised Burks hasn't, creeped in a little bit higher than that. But I mean, I'm still not willing to roll the dice on him just yet. But Yoshi has been one of my favorite grabs in the last round or so. I've got him stashed away in a couple dynasty teams too, but just a real big fan of his. I really liked him coming out of Princeton, as a rookie, and by all accounts, he's kind of endeared himself, on the offense on that team. So I kind of like him a little bit more than Burton right now. I mean, I do like Burton. Burton's a great player, but I think Yoshi's going to be the one who's on the field and seeing more at the snap time. Snap share.
He came up big a couple games last year. So.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, Vince. I did not sleep on Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones was another guy that I was like, I can go get you the receipts on that one because I was high on Charlie Jones last year.
Let me run through round 15, 16, 17 here. We had Kamani Vidal, Jermaine Burton, aforementioned Jermaine Burton, Alexander Madison, Ray Davis, Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irvin, Justin Fields, Demarcus Robinson, Geno Smith, Marvin Mims Jr., Audric Estime, Jalen McMillan. Round 16's Javon Baker, Luke McCaffrey, Khalil Herbert, Kate Otten, Tyler Boyd, Braylon Allen, DJ Chark, Isaiah Likely, Elijah Mitchell, Daniel Jones, Kendre Miller, Bryce Young. Round 17, Jalen Tolbert, Malachi Corley, Darius Slayton, Troy Franklin, Justice Hill, Damian Pierce, Will Shipley, Greg Dortch, Roman Wilson, Trey Sermon, Dylan Lobb, Tyrone Tracy. Round 18, Drake May, Andre Los, how do you say it?
Yoshivas
Yoshivas.
or Yoshi. They call him Yoshi.
Yoshi. I just know Andre can catch the ball.
That's
That's
right.
how I call him. Van Jefferson, Ben Sinnott, Roshan Johnson, Jalen Hyatt, Chiga Kwankwo, Traylon Burks, Juwan Johnson, AJ Dillon, Derek Carr, and Mr. Irrelevant, Stacy.
Mr. Irrelevant. Oh no, I just closed the I closed
Oh
my
no.
window.
Okay. All right.
Right
I
there.
will look up Mr. Irrelevant here and Mr. Irrelevant. Where'd it go? Oh man.
Hang on. Let me pull it up here.
Holy smokes. I've done that many already. Okay.
Theo Johnson.
Theo Johnson. Okay.
Theo Johnson. Let's see.
Well, let's just I don't really want to go through every single team.
Mm-hmm.
If we can do, let's see. Let's do this. Let's do your team and my team, and if anybody else wants us to look at their team, let's do that over on either on Twitter.
Yes.
Or you can, or if you don't want yours put out there on Twitter, be more than happy to DM us. We will look at that.
100%.
Bill says, ranked second. Underdog loves his team. Top 4 as always. Charlene, I have Yoshi on a bunch of best ball teams.
Yes, girl.
You know who you don't have on this best ball team, Charlene? A couple guys that are on my team. Just gonna put that out there. Let's start with you, Stacy. Started off with Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Evan Ingram in the 7th, Ramondre Stevenson in the 8th, Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, Pat Fryermuth, Zach Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard, Demario Douglas, Audric Estime, Luke McCaffrey, Dylan Lobb, and Andre Yoshivas.
The Fighting Yoshis. So if you don't mind, can you scroll back up a little bit to your rounds?
Go ahead.
Billy, you don't know who Yoshi is? You should know who Yoshi is. Go check him out. All right. So drafting out the 11th spot here. Grabbed Jahmyr Gibbs with my first pick. Love him. Is there going to be some, sharing time there with Montgomery? I 100% believe it, just like last year. So, at the end of the day, Montgomery probably is a little bit better value, but I think Gibbs is going to be even stronger than he was last year. So I don't mind taking him in the first round. My receivers here, I got to tell you, Gator, I love them so much because I got Tank Dell and I got Zay Flowers, which has been very hard to do. Get that, week 17 matchup there with Houston and Baltimore. I've been trying to make that happen a lot of times. These two guys typically go in around the same round. So I think the only reason I did get him there was because of being at the end. And I really like that combo. Keenan Allen is a fun one for me because you got 2 older guys down there with Allen and with Chris Godwin. But did you know that even with all the time that he missed last year, Keenan Allen still had over 1,000 yards. Chris Godwin on his 3rd year of over 1,000 yards. So, I love these guys. I love what they bring to the table here. And going with Evan Ingram, like we talked about earlier, just an absolute ton of targets. Ramondre with my 2nd pick. I don't think he'll be quite as rough as he was last year. Grabbed Purdy. It looks like at first like I've got a naked Brock Purdy, and I do. However, he goes really nicely with my Detroit guys. So, that's going to be a nice little week 17 that I've got going on there. Caleb Williams obviously goes with Keenan Allen to make that a nice little stack. And then going and grabbing Pat Fryermuth, who I believe is kind of a drop off of that, 2nd to 3rd tier of tight ends that you really want before it starts getting pretty ugly. And then just kind of filled in my roster at that point with some backup running backs, some backup, receivers at that end. I really still believe that Demario Douglas is going to be the number 1 there in New England, unless, of course, God forbid, poor Brandon Ayuk gets shipped out to New England. Then we can readjust our ranks there with those guys. But I really like the rest of my team. There's some dart throws. There's some guys that may see some time that are, an injury away. Audric Estime, Dylan Lobb, they're, McCaffrey, I think, has a great chance to be, kind of inserted into that role there. They're looking for a third guy after Curtis Samuel, goes off to Buffalo. So I'm really digging this team. I like it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I like it. I like it as well. Vince does go ahead and he rated my team already. So I do appreciate it. A B minus, B minus. And I know why it's a B minus. So don't I actually I think that's probably a fair grade for this team. Because originally when I sat down, I was like, okay, this is just a 12-man league. I 100% completely just blanked about being the 15,000, even though I wrote the show sheet. I know exactly what was in there, right? And I still just blanked it. So I did not go into this thinking about correlation whatsoever, which
Yep.
is 1% my fault. So but I still think I came out very, very nicely here, starting off with 4 wide receivers with Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, 4 number ones on their team, on their respective teams. And then right away, just go ahead and get that stud tight end, Kyle Pitts, or what should be the stud tight end. Better offense, hopefully going to happen. And I think that's where, it allowed me to do the next thing, and which I don't think I've ever done, especially in best ball, where I went 3 running backs back to back to back here with Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Raheem Mostert. Again, number ones on their team.
Right. You got really good ones that are very underrated.
Yes. And I think there's going to be, one of those, if not 2 of those, could be top 8. And all 3 of them could be in the top 15 at the end of the season. Brock Bowers, who, in the 9th round is just ridiculous. They've got 2 people to throw to. Brock Bowers is one of the 2. Some guy named Devontae Adams is still on that team too. So we Brock Bowers as the second wide receiver. And the other side of that coin is Brock Bowers. It's been said by the Raiders that they're not going to use him necessarily as a tight end.
Thank God. I mean, they've got poor Michael Mayer there to banish into tight end blocking territory.
So Brock Bowers, wide receiver 2 out of the Vegas Raiders area in the 9th round, I just think is great value. Able to go ahead and get my stack there with Trevor Lawrence in the 10th, and then Jared Goff in the 11th round there. Without doing correlation, I do think. Let me see. Did I? Yeah, I did. So I was able to get the little Debo and Jared Goff correlation there. That's nice. That's nice. Marshawn Lloyd, this is kind of where I just started to fill it in. So because I was able to go get those 4 wide receivers right away, the stud tight end, I was able in round 12 to start looking at backups.
Right.
And start, filling in the team there. I'm not looking for, the starters for each week. Marshawn Lloyd, Tyler Algiers, turn around Michael Wilson, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Boyd. This is where I kind of, dart throws, but guys that can pop on any given week. Great Dortch, and then Roshan Johnson to end it out. So I ended with let me see, I believe it was 2-6-8-2.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, I really like your DeMarcus Robinson pick, especially with the news coming out about, Puka. Question marks there. And I'm a little surprised that he hasn't gone a little bit higher and kind of gotten moved up just a tiny bit. Because, I mean, that is week-to-week knee injury is concerning for a wide receiver.
Vince, you are not getting any brownie points with Stacy.
Vince, come on. I mean, what was Keenan Allen? Was my, fifth receiver?
Keenan Allen was your 4th.
4th? Yeah, I'm okay with that. He's had 7,000 yard seasons in his career. I'm good. I'm good with my old man. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't.
We're not ageist over here on the Masterclass.
Do not hate it at all. Don't forget, Women of Fantasy Football has teamed up with TrophySmack, the Ladies League's all commissions this month when you use the Women of Fantasy Football link, www.trophysmack.com/women of fantasy. /WOFF. Everything goes towards all the commissions go towards the GALvanize scholarship. Get through this amazing schedule here over at Club Fantasy FFL. Monday night, we have Mocking with the Stars at 10 p.m. That is me and my buddy Chris Battistel mocking with some amazing creators in this space. Tuesday night, we have Masterclass, which you just witnessed us do at 8:30 Wednesdays has changed up a little bit. We now have the Women of Fantasy Football podcast going off at 7 p.m. This week, Kelly is sitting down with Gabby Gowdy of FanDuel at 7 p.m. There is also jersey giveaways on that show. If you are interested in trying to earn or win a jersey, this week's jerseys are Garrett Wilson and Jalen Waddle. Go over to the Club Fantasy FFL Twitter or the Women of Fantasy Football Twitter and scroll through there, and you'll see the link in there to go and donate. It's $5 per ticket and no limit on how many tickets you can get. So it's for a great cause, and you get great merch to go with. That is Wednesday, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Special show for the next 4 weeks. No pun intended. Our flagship show, instead of being at 7, gives way to the WOFF podcast. They move their show to 9 p.m. for the next 4 weeks. Thursday night is trade blocked at 8 p.m. Mock Girl Summer is still going on. 10 p.m. on Thursday nights. Mock It Like It's Hot. 8 p.m. on Fridays. Saturday morning, we have Summer School, our other best ball show. It goes off at 11. Also, with that show, Matt and Austin are doing a series called Cram Session, going over each and every week 17-game correlation, and it comes out each day here shortly. Sunday morning, we also have Dynasty After Party at 11 a.m. as well. Holy smoke, that is a mouthful of shows.
So much.
Shows. Big thank you to everybody in the chat, all the new viewers, Charlene, Vince, Billy. I can't even see who all's in there right now. Everybody that was in the chat, everybody that drafted with us. Man, holy cow, what a fun night. Great job, Stacy, giving away some of this hard-earned money that we do, and allowing Fantasy Cares to just grab a couple more toys.
100%. Yeah. Thanks to everybody in the chat, everybody who drafted with us tonight. You guys are rock stars. Don't forget, if you are interested in doing that high stakes draft with us at the end of the season on the 27th, that is going to be kicking off over on the FFPC. And remember, it's a $300,000 grand prize for that. So if you want to get in, play with us, we are going to be putting that information out soon, or you can DM either one of us. We'll make sure that you get it so that you can go sign up ASAP. There are still some spots left. And I really want to see some of our listeners jumping in there with us too.
100%. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to Club Fantasy FFL or to the Women of Fantasy Football over on YouTube, you can go ahead and fix that real quick. Just click on the subscribe, then you click the bell. That allows you to know when we go live with any of our content and any of these shows.
Yes.
You also need to make sure you are checking out our Twitter pages. You'll see all the new jerseys that we are raffling off as well. Make sure you check out the website, clubfantasyffl.com, where all of our written work in rankings and all of that kind of good stuff are there. Stacy, tell the viewers where they can find you and what you're working on.
Yeah, guys, so I'm over at Stacy_Perez 83. Gator, I'm actually working on getting myself to Canton, Ohio this weekend for the Fantasy Football Expo. That's right. Guys, if you're out there, you're listening, you're going to be at the expo. I would love to meet you. Please come up and say hi. I want to meet as many people as I can over this weekend. So, and send good vibes for my flight, please, because I'm a little concerned about one of my layovers might be affected by that tropical storm that came through. So hopefully not. Hopefully it's done and we don't get delayed getting on up to Canton for all the fun times.
100%. I will not be in Canton this year, but hopefully next year. Hopefully next year we will be there, and we will have maybe next year we do we'll do a masterclass live from Canton.
Gator, that would assume that we are not absolutely intoxicated once we.
No, I think that would make nobody says don't drink and drunk. I mean, don't drink.
Say don't drink and draft. We don't drink and draft. We drink after the draft. We don't drink during the draft, folks.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I was drinking at Scott Fishbowl. You were drinking. Oh, you weren't drinking at Scott Fishbowl.
I was not. That's right. I was on my game.
Yes, Charlene. We gotta make 2025 the year to do that. 100%. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're following everybody. Make sure you follow Stacy at Stacy_Perez 83. Make sure you follow me at Fantasy J77. Make sure you follow Women of Fantasy, and make sure you follow Club Fantasy FFL. Any last words, Stacy? Well, I mean, we've gone an hour and 20.
Got an hour 23. Actually, it's going to hit hour 24 right here.
Yo.
See you guys next week.
Yes, make sure you donate to fantasycares.org. Until next week.